Hey there, this is Kathy Mazak, and it's Monday, and it's day 2 of our 7 Summer Steps, which is my little video series that is live every day at noon on this page, where I'm going to talk about 7 things you can do this summer that are going to make your next year, academic year, super productive. So summer is such a great time to kind of reflect on what you've done in the last year and just kind of get your mindset ready for how next year is going to go. Hi, Lisa. So that's why I wanted to kind of brainstorm. I brainstormed about 7 ideas. I'm sure we could think of lots more of things that you can do this summer to get your next academic year really in line. So I'm going to cover 3 different types of steps or things, really. 7 summer steps was just for alliteration. They're not steps you have to do in order. I'm going to talk a little bit about productivity, about mindset, and about restoration and recharging of your batteries. So yesterday I wanted to give you like 2 quick wins as the first 2 steps. So yesterday's step was decide to quit one thing now. Oh, I love that one. So I suggested that you make a list of all the things that you're doing and figure out one committee or one project or one thing that you do as part of your job that you could get rid of right now. You might even do that for your home life too and think of one thing you could get rid of. And that will set your minds well and alleviate some of your time starting out next academic year. So today's step 2, is about email. Ooh. So step 2 is change your email habits. Now, I'm really hoping that you have different email habits in the summer than you do during the academic year. So I want to kind of just give a little tough love about email. Email is how work arrives to you. Okay, so a lot of us, if we never answered our email, we wouldn't be assigned things. So a lot of times what happens with email is that we look at it first thing in the morning. And somebody, in between the time we previously looked at it and in first thing in the morning, somebody has emailed us with some kind of what they think is an emergency or some kind of problem that they want us to solve, which makes extra work for us, right? So immediately, what do? It's like, oh, the email's there in the inbox. I want to get it out. That means I have to resolve the problem. And you start your day putting out fires, like putting out stuff. Hey, people who've joined. Hi, Lori. And you start your day putting out fires. So that's why I want to kind of talk about how to corral your email into a certain time of day. So a couple things about email. Number 1 is, just like everything, you teach people how to treat you. So you teach people by how quickly you respond to email, how quickly they should expect you to respond. I don't think that you have to respond to emails right away. I don't even think that you have to respond to emails within the same business day. I think for most things you have 24 hours or more. So I think, hi Ashley, hi Songfeng. So I want you to think about changing your mindset about email. Email is not a text message. Email is not a phone call. You don't have to pick up. Okay, you don't have to pick up right away. People shouldn't expect you to email back right away. So what does that look like and how will that change your everyday life? Okay, so the number 1 thing is you don't look at email first thing in the morning. In fact, what I think you should do first thing in the morning is do your most, again, I guess this is individual to different people. I'll say for me, since I want to be writing more, I want to write first thing in the morning. I want to do work that involves my creative mind and my research analytical mind first thing in the morning. So I would suggest do not open your email first thing in the morning. Instead, reserve a block of time where you are either writing for an hour or two, or you're working on your research project, you're in your lab, you're doing something else, but it's not opening email. In fact, I would push email as far into the day as you can without you freaking out. So I would say email happens at 3 o'clock when you're like kind of pooped already and you know that you're gonna have to like get going and get home by 5, so at 3 o'clock gives you like a couple hours, if you go home at 5, it gives you a couple hours to like deal with any problems that come up in your email. Now, when you start to do this, you're going to notice that people start to know when you're on email and when you're not. So I'm going to give you like another kind of good example. Today I was having a conversation with my husband about texting a certain friend, and he wanted to text this friend or message the friend through Facebook, and I told him that I knew that she was kind of taking a Facebook break, so that if he wanted to get in touch with her, he should text her. And so I gave him her number. This is a colleague of ours. So he's like, okay, I'm going to text her. And I'm like, oh, wait, it's Monday. She's traveling because this week is our spring break. Like, I know she's traveling, so you just, you might not get a response from her. And he said, she doesn't bring her phone with her when she travels? And it was like such a moment of like, he is always on. He answers messages as they come in like this. I'm trying to train him not to do that, but he does. He answers messages in WhatsApp and emails, and notifications are coming on all the time. He answers them right away. So people expect him to answer right away. But my friend who we were talking about, I know that she's not going to answer her phone while she's on vacation with her family if it's a work-related question. So I know that she's not going to answer that text message. You train people when you're on and when you're off by being consistent with your behavior. So to kind of give a sum up, don't answer email first thing in the morning. Schedule email time, and I suggest it to be in the afternoon, like not immediately before you leave work, because you don't want some big thing to like explode that you have to deal with before you leave, but like, I would say like maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Make it work for you. And block it in your calendar, like actual time. Like, I will deal with email from 3 to 4, and then I will stop. Okay? So don't answer in the morning. Block off a time that I suggest should be in the late afternoon to deal with email. And don't sweat it. What you need to do is if people really have an emergency, what they think is an emergency is not always what we think is an emergency, right? But if you have an emergency, you have to train people to contact you a different way if it's an emergency. So for example, I think one level up from email is a text message. And a level up from that is a phone call. And you train people that if you really need to get me right away, you call my office. And if I'm there and I pick up, then I'll solve the problem. Or text me or message me through some kind of application. And again, if you jump on every one of those messages, you teach people that you're on 24/7. And no, you don't have to be on 24/7. You should corral these things into a certain time frame. So that's my step number 2. In the summer, I imagine that you don't answer your work email right away, unless you're giving classes or, if you're a 12-month faculty or something like that. So think about how in the summer you could start implementing these kinds of corralling your email tactics. Don't answer first thing in the morning. Use your first thing in the morning energy to tackle the things that really are going to move the needle in your career, like writing. corral your email into a certain time of day, which I suggest being late in the afternoon. Give people some alternative way to get a hold of you if they need to. And don't sweat it. Like, it's not the end of the world if you don't answer somebody's question right away. You know, I do really think that with email, like a 24-hour window is totally fine. Hi, Emily. So I just want to thank you so much for joining me today. I also want you to know that I'm in the process of creating a super awesome handout that will summarize all 7 steps so that when we get to the end of the week, I will send a link. I'll put a link in the group where you guys can download the handout and have it there to remind you of the 7 things you want to do this summer. So, corral your email. That's step number 2. I really hope that you're having a fantastic Monday and that you'll have an awesome week. Tomorrow, we're going to start with some mindset steps, some things you can work on with your mindset in terms of how you cultivate focus, how you set goals, and those kinds of things. That summer is a great time to do that stuff so that you really hit the ground running at the beginning of the next academic year. If you want to tweet about this video series, use the hashtag 7SummerSteps. Tell Twitter what you learned. Direct people back to my page. I would be happy to grow this group. I love talking about writing with academic moms. So if you have academic moms or other academic women in your life that you want to share the I Should Be Writing page with, please do that. If they have the link, which is just facebook.com/groups/I Should Be Writing, they can click on that link and request to join, and I'll let them in. So I hope that you're having an awesome day. I'll see you tomorrow at noon.